Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ossu Otaku podcast. We're talking about My Hero Academia Season 5. Joining me, as always, as per usual, is Cassidy. Cassidy, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good today, Jake. Got to watch an awesome episode of My Hero. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm a terrible, terrible podcaster. I learned nothing in college. I took no notes whatsoever. First time I watched it, I'm like, I'll just casually watch it, like I always do, because that's the best way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
Watching anyone, if you're like trying to talk about a film or a movie, always watch it way more than one time. I'd say
Oh, yeah.
minimum 3 to 4 personally, but if you're trying to do like some real in-depth stuff. But with this, I usually watch it 2 to 3 times. But yeah, watched it twice. Didn't take any notes the second time because I was so enthralled with everything that was happening. Because holy shit, there's so much. We got it. We finally got our boy.
We got it. Yes. We got more backstory. We got a lot of action somehow in the same episode. So this episode felt like so long, but so short at the same time.
Exactly. Like, I get so upset and excited, mostly upset, when they do the little face cards.
Yes,
I'm like,
me too.
Shit, that means we're halfway through the episode, but
Yep.
not enough's happened yet.
I know. That's the exact same happens with me. And I get upset. I'm like, oh my God, there's only like 10 more minutes left with the credits, basically.
Exactly.
It's upsetting, but
it's rude.
I did get to watch it twice. Ayo, twice. Haha. Get it?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I'm so sorry, everyone.
He's a king, though. I knew I liked Twice. I didn't know how much I liked Twice until this episode.
I always have loved him so much. And getting that reminder of why Twice is trying to protect Toga so much with her wrapping the bandana around his head when he was like splitting in the last season. That was so cute, getting that flashback. And then I started to feel really bad for him, but he pulled through this episode. He really did something.
My goodness, did he do something? I was not expecting everything to happen the way it did.
Not at all. That's why it's such a good episode.
Oh my gosh. And the fact, oh man, so much with Twice. Such a good character.
So good.
It just sucks, like they really humanized him so much with like 3 sentences.
I know.
And then they kept bringing it up.
God.
Yeah, sometimes you stumble, and then you keep stumbling, and then you fall, and I'm like, oh, this is too much. I can't hang. I can't do this.
I know. Well, because we've already seen some of his backstory that kind of got like skipped over because we've seen it before in this episode. But we got to see more of an even more like human side of his backstory because the part that we've seen before was just him using his quirk and then getting, that trauma, that psychological trauma of him having to kill himself and not knowing which one was the real him. But now we get to see what led up to that. And he was just like a normal fucking human guy whose parents died. And he got into like villainous crimes and stuff. And he just turned to this place that he now thinks of as like a family. And he's trying to save his friend Giran, like who brought him into this family. Like it's like wholesome for a villain, which is like really hard to wrap my mind around.
And they even make that kind of comment during the episode. They're like, isn't this like a hero origin story? Like,
yeah, they got kind of meta with that.
Oh, it was so good. Meta. Jeez, stop dropping all these sick jokes.
It's My Hero. They're doing it for me. I'm just here saying them.
You're just a vessel.
I am, seriously.
I really appreciated why they went more into like talking about why they call it meta and not quirks and stuff like that.
Me too. I was like happy that there was an actual reason why that there's a distinction between quirk versus like meta ability. So I wrote that down and I was like, because I think I brought that up in last episode or a couple episodes ago. Because they all of a sudden stopped calling them quirks and they're just calling them meta abilities. And I was like, oh, probably just because they're calling themselves the Meta Liberation Army. It's whatever. But now it actually like makes more sense and makes me love the story even more.
Right? There's a clear linguistical decision behind it. And that's I thought that was a really bold move and really cool move at the same time, because translating over to all the different languages that this may get translated to.
True.
So
Very
it's
true.
very interesting that they went about going that way with the whole meta and quirk and stuff like that.
And
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, to be honest, in a show like this, you don't even necessarily need to have an explanation for something like that. Like in
Yes.
my mind, I'd already made a reason up why they started calling it meta abilities instead of calling them quirks anymore. But the fact that they like had that, and it's like part of the story now, is just like, it's just, the show is just leveling up more and more.
Every time. And that's what really makes it stand out for me as a shonen. Like, I forget that this is a shonen anime.
Yeah.
Because they do such a good job with stuff like that. Yeah, we've had some filler, but with the flashbacks and stuff, we didn't get all the flashbacks from Twice again, like we've gotten with Shoto so many times.
So many times.
The same one, the boiling pot. Holy cow.
Yep.
But, oh my gosh, yeah, they did such a good job approaching this, like, really trusting the viewer to have watched the previous season, and, like...
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
I love it. Like, yeah, you can give us a little bit. Like, they showed, like we were talking about, they showed the scene where Toga wrapped that little handkerchief around his head. That was it.
Right.
Also, speaking of Toga, were the Twice clones that... Sorry, I gotta pull up his name. I don't want to mess up. That, I'm just gonna call him by his... Skeptic, thank you. Were they breaking her neck? Because they were really twisting at her head. I don't know what the hell was going on there. Maybe I was just overthinking. I wouldn't hold somebody like that if I was picking him up.
Right. They didn't move her like that whole time. Like Twice was going through this like monologue in his head, but also talking to the other hymns that were being controlled by Skeptic at the same time, and like having this whole conversation, like he's figuring out what to do, and they're just holding Toga and like kind of slowly turning her head as if they're trying to like break her neck, and nothing really happened with that. But I wasn't sure if that's what they were trying to do, or if they were just trying to make it look like that, because they did say that they wanted to kill Toga and take Twice, so I'm sure they could have killed her in that moment, but they didn't.
Yeah, they wanted to kill Toga and take Twice because, as we learned in this episode, he is extremely S tier.
Dude, he's OP. Like, how many things in this episode happened that were just so overpowered? Like, we have so many OP characters now. They've all, like, Toga now is like S tier. Twice S tier. The ice guy, Getten, S tier. We learned a lot about Dabi, and fucking when skipping to the end of the episode, just to add to my point, Shigaraki taking that whole fucking building down with one touch, like OP, bro. Like, there was so much going on in this episode.
Also, not just like quirk, but tactfulness, like, because the clone of Shigaraki was like, I made eye contact with him, get ready. Yeah. And it's like,
he's gonna be here.
This is what he's gonna do, because that's what I would do. And it's like, oh my gosh.
That part was so good. He was like, that's at least what I would do. And then 1 second later, he puts his hand up on the building. Like,
1 second. I thought we were gonna see, someone else. I thought we were gonna see Machia, but no, wrong.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's gotta be next episode, though.
Oh, 100%. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're going to take a step back. We're going to go to the beginning of the episode, and we're really going to dissect this. So before we get the theme song even, they're holding Twice down. Holy cow, Skeptic. Such a good quirk. I
love him. His design is so cool, too.
Gosh, so cool.
He's just an emo boy, but I love it.
Yes. Seriously, he would have thrived in like 2006. The way that they're going about, they're trying to break Twice mentally, and then they're going to try and take him over. That's their whole plan, and it's working pretty good before the theme song hits.
Yeah.
He's losing his mind. He's not having a good time.
He's going back and forth. He can't figure out who's who, who's real, who's not, which one he is, like who's on what side. Yeah. Which makes sense. Like, you see a bunch of you, and you have this old psychological trauma of like you had to kill yourself many times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job with that.
And not to gloss over it, but just real quick summary. We briefly talked about it earlier, but we get Twice's backstory before he gets into his fight with himself and cuts his head and stuff like that. But you have him like just stumbling and falling and tripping and stumbling. I'm just kidding. But you get to see like, yeah, he lost his parents when he was in middle school. That's a tragic story. That's like so horrible. And then everything that leads up to him, meeting Giron and getting to where he is now. And then you have Skeptic's clones holding him, and what the fuck do they do? Because he explains, it's so perfect, because it's a flashback where he's explaining to, is it Giron? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Giron.
Yeah, explaining to him, like, his quirk. And we haven't really seen Twice's quirk too much lately. We
really haven't.
We saw him use it with Dabi in the forest training, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then here, and then him trying to clone the bullets, the Yakuza bullets.
Right, yeah. The ones that make you go crazy.
The ones that take away your quirk or meta power, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, meta power.
Boy, oh boy. Then something happens, and boy, oh boy, does Twice just go from like funny, like comic relief in the League of Villains to completely broken.
I know. Ah, man, literally broken. They break his arms, and then he creates literally thousands of himself to try and save his friends in the League of Villains.
Because he's like, wait a minute, if my arms are broken and I'm still here, then I'm the original. And then it's just boom,
Ayo!
It's done. Oh my gosh, the visuals of that.
Yeah, right?
That
was so good. And I do think it's kind of funny that he makes his doubles like in this brown mud sludge thing.
It looks so
and
good.
then their little heads just like pop out, and then you're like, holy shit, there's like 100 of them right here. And then all of a sudden it's filling the entire town, and somehow he has created so many of himself that they're all fighting the Meta Liberation Army people. Just all of them are Twice.
All of them, every single one of them.
Literally.
But then from there we get into the conundrum that Twice can't just beat them all, because then Machio will not get tired trying to fight all these people.
Right. I was very like happy to see that they, like you said, the logistics in this episode really came through, because they are like preparing for all these things. Like, I know we were talking about that like an episode or two ago, and we were like, well, if they're going to be wasting all these villains this fast, then Maki's going to get here and there's not going to be anyone.
Yeah. Kind of 100,000 people. I don't know. It's not looking too great right now.
I know. And yeah, that was, I love seeing those little things where it's like, yep, that makes sense why they would be thinking about this. If they were good villains at all, which of course they are, they would take note of this, and they definitely thought of everything in this episode.
They did. Oh my gosh, they did such a good job writing this episode. And I'm pulling up Hulu on another screen just to peep where we're at. Yeah. Oh my god. So, also real quick, the little cartoon when he's describing how his quirk works.
Yeah, that was cute.
Adorable. Why do they do this? They did the same thing with Toga when they were explaining her power.
Yeah, I always love the like the chibis or the diagrams of when they explain like people's quirks, or like a map. They just draw a little map and they're like, this person's here, this person's here. Like, it's so cute.
Yeah. Also, holy cow. We got to get to we got to talk before we get to the big part. Got to talk about Getten fighting Dabi.
Yep.
And Dabi being like, oh man, how's there so much ice here? And he's like, well, fucking water turns into ice, bro. Like,
duh.
And he just wastes streets of Twice.
I know. That was insane. So we definitely know Getten is also super powerful, right? And he can as he said subtly in the last episode that I don't think either of us really caught on to, is that he can control ice, which he so kindly reminded Dabi of this episode, and not that he just creates ice like Shoto can. He controls it, so like he can control where it goes, the temperature. He can like make more of it if there's some already there, or make some out of water. Like that's like a big step up from just being able to like, throw some ice around.
Yeah, exactly. And he was figuring out Davi's weaknesses as they were fighting. Like, obviously, they talked about in this episode that they had collected intel on all the League of Villains, but he was like he really had Dabi's number. Dabi was not in a good spot.
Yeah, and of course, Dabi didn't give a shit. He is never surprised. Like I don't think I've ever seen an expression on his face that wasn't bored or like smiling with evil.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
so he was unbothered completely.
Gosh, yeah. And then they're asking, Mr. Compress was like, "Oh, we need help," and then he's like, "Nah, we don't." Then there was
we really don't.
Street load of Twice coming.
Yeah. But I did find it interesting how, since Getten was being so observant, how he noticed how weak Dabi's like skin is. I guess I just thought of it as like an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, just of course he's a villain. That's how he has to look.
Right, exactly. And not thinking of like how it affects his performance and like his quirk and like his ability, his stamina, or whatever it affects. Like that's definitely something I've never thought of before, like why his skin is like that, because we've seen him so many times. I kind of just like forget, like if they're going to tell us, it'll come up at some point, but it was brought up and it wasn't like answered. So I'm curious again, like why does he look like that? And it means his skin is weak and he doesn't like cover it up or anything. So I don't know, man.
Is this just scar tissue of him burning himself constantly
from using his quirk though? Like that's that's what's crazy, is because he said you overheat and your skin burns because you use your quirk, because blue flames hotter than red flames. So he's the blue flame user and he literally burns himself when he uses his quirk. So
dope.
Which also made me think how like there are so many of Twice. Does this like, so this, when he creates himself, it takes like no toll on his actual like human body? Like there are so many of him. I know, that seems crazy. Like you'd think there would be a downside to making so many of him besides the mental impact,
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess not.
Yeah, that's something that's super interesting to me. I think it's more like his weakness, right, is that he's
right.
so unstable.
Yeah. But, and I really love the way that he came up with like his clones were telling themselves, it's okay, we're just clones, so even if we die, we're not actually dead. And I was just like, that is such a great way to like, he really figured that out so fast. Through love and courage, he was able to do it. So
cute. Love and courage. And like the rooftops of Twice and him just being like goofy and oh my gosh.
I'm staring at that still frame right now. He's just like doing push-ups. It kind of looks like he was doing some TikTok dances at some point.
It does though. It was so ridiculous.
But that's so Twice. And I think that just adds to like his personality, and like obviously it's his personality and just like how good of a character he is.
Ridiculous.
So good.
Oh, dude.
Can you imagine animating all these Twices though? That must have been hell.
Kind of boring,
Yeah, probably.
There's a scene there's a frame where Getten talks about how Dabi smells burnt. And I just wanted to touch on that again because that's so gross and so dope. I know.
Like the smell of burnt flesh. Ugh. And like that's just like Dabi all the time. That's like probably his, like that's his smell. Like people have smells. That's probably his smell, and that's like so gross.
Gosh. Dude.
The Dabi stands and simps are probably shaking right now.
They're raging. They're shaking with rage. They can't handle it.
Oh man.
Gosh, I love that the twice saves Shigaraki and Spinner.
Oh
And
my God, Spinner. I thought he might do something this
I
episode.
know,
There
me
was like
too.
one moment where he was like, the only thing I can do is dot dot dot, and then they cut away and he didn't do anything, as
I
always.
was so excited. I'm like, finally, this is it. We finally get to see him in action.
Anything, Spinner, anything. And then cut away. No.
Wrong. No.
But yeah, twice like saved pretty much everyone at some
Ooh.
point in this episode.
Absolutely. And it just works perfectly with like the character development and growth they're trying to do with them right now.
Yeah.
And holy cow, they're trying to get to the tower. And spoiler alert, everyone, it's not a spoiler because it happens in this episode.
Yep.
Twice gets there. Oh wait, sorry. Before we can get to Twice, we got to talk about
This guy.
yes, they call him Trumpet.
Oh, Trump. No way. They call him Trumpet?
That's his code name. But they call him the
Okay.
president. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. He's a politician and
Mhm.
he motivates his fellow comrades into trying to kill the League again.
It's crazy. It seemed like his quirk was similar to like the boost drugs that people were taking because it just got them like so going.
It got them so hyped up and it was so easy. Like it wasn't one of those long monologues. It was just a simple little speech. He just drove in and was like, okay, like basically fight harder. Like, come on. And they started going at him again, like harder than before.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So that's the guy that Spinner was like, oh, I thought he was gonna do something to the trumpet guy, but
Yeah, same. Maybe he will in the next episode.
I hope. I would love to see Spinner do literally anything in this series.
Honestly, other than just like dress like Stain. Come on.
And look like a Ninja Turtle.
Oh my, honestly though.
Yeah.
But
come on, I need to see that gecko quirk.
The gecko. What is it? Oh my gosh. Exactly. But then we get to Twice gets to the building where Redestro's at, and holy shit. Redestro. Kind of cool quirk.
Okay. I love that his face gets taken over by this, like, I don't know why it turns brown, obviously. Hopefully we'll get some more info on that soon, but his giant, he can like make himself big in certain parts and just fuck you up with that.
It's wild. It's like it looks similar to what his dad, I think his dad had, right? Allegedly.
Yeah.
Because his dad
the original Destro.
Yeah. But boy, when he grabbed Shigaraki like that, I was like, oh boy, he's just gonna like disintegrate him. But that was the clone.
Yeah, that was the copy. So
yeah.
But yeah, we got some more backstory on him and like history of this in this show. Like we got a lot. He's a very important man, it seems.
Yeah.
That's when we learned more about the distinction between quirks and meta abilities and why they call it different things, and how his grandmother was basically the inventor of the word quirk,
which is crazy.
And his father is, as he said, Destro. He's carrying on his father's legacy by being Redestro and trying to get this whole meta liberation army off the ground again.
So cool, so crazy. And yeah, he comes off as a little more uncontrolled, like unhinged, because he seemed super in control this whole time, but he's starting to show his frustration.
He's starting to unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. I think that question that he asked Shigaraki that isn't able to be answered before the episode ends is, I mean, that's a good question to pose. Like, they have this huge army. They have a huge motivation, which of course both sides have motivations, but this is his father's legacy that he believes in, that he's trying to get. He already has this many supporters, and he like they have a plan, and he's like, do you really think you could tear this down with your silly, stupid thug shit?
I love it.
Have all of this? And he didn't get an answer, but I mean, I think I know the answer. I think Shigaraki thinks, yes, our motivation is just as important as yours is. So
Oh yeah. That was such a good little speech, though. It got me super
it
hyped.
was. I know that, like, ugh. And then that was right before Shigaraki takes down the building. So,
Oh
like,
my gosh.
that little speech coupled with that action of like this whole building is crumbling and like the logistics, like you said, the copy of Shigaraki saw himself down there and was like, this is gonna happen basically. And yeah, that was just all so hype. Just got so excited, and then I got excited for seeing Makia hopefully next episode.
Okay, so yeah, we're on to the end. We're on to the part where we talk about the next episode, or like, make the predictions. Talk about the very end. What did you think of this the scene, or like this little teaser that we got?
The preview.
Yeah.
So it looks like we get to see more of Reed Destro's like main guys. We get to see the trumpet guy some more, it looks like. Which I'm really interested in seeing what else this guy can do. And we get Shigaraki's forgotten past recollection that he's gonna get in the middle of this fight with the boss. The boss,
Amazing.
Reed Destro. So which of course it's gotta happen in the middle of the fight.
Of course.
Of
Very,
course.
very anime. But I love it because it's such a trope for the hero. But just having Shigaraki have this same kind of development and same kind of arc in a fight and everything, it's just such a good slight change to the trope.
It is really good because even as I said in this episode, like this sounds like a hero's origin story, and at least that was in regards to Twice, but still, like these things are happening in the My Villain Academia arc as if they were like the protagonists of the show, like a shonen series. And so I think that's just so cool, and I love getting to see these villains' backstories and anyone's backstory really. So
Honestly,
some more flashbacks of Shigaraki, I'm always here for. So I'm so excited for that.
we need him because we don't know anything. We know that he killed his whole family. That's it.
Yeah. And we just got that information like a couple episodes ago. Like the most we've learned about him has been in these past like 3 episodes.
5 seasons into a show. Our big baddie.
See, the main well, he's one
the
of
main
the
villain.
main villain. Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
he definitely is now for sure. In the past like 2 seasons, definitely like the main villain. And yeah, we're finally getting some more information on him, and I'm seeing in this this still frame for next episode, his like a lot of his hands on the red things are destroyed.
Oh, yes.
Like most of them, it looks like have been like taken or ripped off or destroyed. So
and it looks like it's making him crack.
Yep, exactly. It's there's he's gonna be. He does that thing where he itches when he's like getting all fucking crazy with.
So gross.
Yeah, it's so gross. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of blood on him.
Yes.
He's gonna be going through some shit mentally and physically next episode.
Oh yes, very much so. And one of the best things about that is they really like doubled down. The name of the next episode is his actual name,
right?
Which is so good.
Tenko Shimura Tenko.
It breaks my heart.
Shimura Tenko origin.
Origin. Oh my.
So yeah, I guess we're getting more of an origin story for our main villain finally at the end of season 5. Which it's the end of season 5. Can you believe that?
Oh man.
We have 3 episodes left.
I don't want to think about it.
I know, it's so sad.
What are they gonna do?
I don't want it to end at all. You know what I really hope is that at least we get to see the class 1A kids before the season ends.
One more time.
It'll probably be for like half of an episode, but
yeah,
even
honestly,
if that, I would love to see that. I
need it.
I know. I miss them.
Yeah. Seriously, we getting the little bit of Ochako like really got me. I was like, oh, cool. Oh, nope. course.
I know. Yeah, that was like a 5-minute scene that we
Yeah.
got to see. It's like some of her, which wasn't even actually her. So
Yeah, 100%. So, okay. Speculation time. What do you think's going to happen in this episode?
well, obviously we're gonna get some boss fight against Shigaraki and Redestro, and
Mhm.
that flashback is gonna be, I don't know. All they say is the sad past of him. So obviously, All for One met Shigaraki when he was like a kid, like 5 years old or younger.
Yep.
So it's gonna be, I think we're gonna see some of his family, like actually when they were alive and not just like when he was killing them. If
Mm-hmm.
we get to see the scene where he literally kills his family, I'm gonna throw up.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm gonna lose my shit. So, but we're gonna see something about his family and obviously this fight. I'm so excited for this fight. Uh,
Oh my
the,
gosh.
the even just the animation of them while Redestro was giving him that back, like that story of that history basically, um and they were fighting, like that animation was so good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like read the subtitles. I was like, I want to watch this animation, like this fight is so cool, so I can't wait for more of that in the next episode.
Yeah, the preview really had it looking like Redestro has Shigaraki's number. He was just kicking his ass.
The upper hand, yeah,
Massive hand.
he becomes a Giga Chad. He gets giant shoulders.
It's true.
And he's just like, I always found it so funny, like when All Might would transform, how his clothes wouldn't like rip or anything. He just became bigger with his clothes. The same thing is
Right.
happening with Destro. He's becoming this giant man who, for some reason, looks like
It's
he turns burnt, like
ah,
when he uses this quirk, which I find super interesting, and like it starts covering his face, and I want to know more. So I can't wait. I hope we get some more info on him and his quirk too for the next episode. But and also Makia.
oh my
Makia's got to be in the next episode. He's gotta.
is he and he's gonna totally take out Getten, right? Like he's gonna be the one that's gonna be what the final fight is.
I hope so. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And hopefully we get to see Spinner Spinner against the politician man.
Okay, yeah, right.
Those are my predictions.
Yeah, hot take, Spinner is gonna get manipulated by the politician man because he is a D tier villain at best.
Oh my god.
Freaking
He really is though.
the wiki lists him at a C. That's very generous. I can't disagree more.
Very generous. Ah, poor Spinner.
Oh my gosh. We'll see. We'll see what he's like. What happens.
Yeah. Do you have any specific predictions for next episode? Or
Oh man. I think the Redestro and Shigaraki fight is gonna get brutal and gross and really cool.
Oh yeah.
I think Dabi is gonna be up against the wall. And I think a lot of these twices are gonna be taken out by Makia just by him plowing through, going at it.
Yeah.
But,
Definitely.
oh.
I would love to see Dabi up against the wall. I would love to see how he would react not being like the strongest one there.
Yeah, like I just want to see him have any emotion, basically.
Yeah, any emotion other than, oh, I like to kill because it's fun or whatever he said at the last episode.
Yeah, gosh. Okay.
I'm good at killing, you know?
What an edgelord.
I know.
God. But that's what I think's gonna happen. I don't think anything. I'm not making any super hot takes because I don't really have any. I think.
Yeah, and it being the third to last episode, not anything like too huge will happen, I think. Like I don't think this fight will end in the next episode. They're going to really like leave it off on a cliffhanger for the end of the season. So
Mm-hmm.
the next week I don't think it'll be the end of this whole like fight situation.
Yeah.
For sure, but we'll definitely get some good action and some more backstory clearly. So
Yeah.
I am looking forward to all of that.
Yeah. It can't get here soon enough. And
Never.
if you need something to fill the void in between these next episodes, make sure to check out all the content coming out on Hogtied Productions on YouTube.com and especially Twitch.tv. Check out the Hogtied TikTok. Gonna be dropping another one today. It's gonna be a total bop. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Jake the Mayor. I've started finally making my own personal TikToks now. Very different style than the Hogtied ones. Still chasing those dumb trends though. And Cassidy, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Cassidy Co on pretty much everything, and at Co High Art, my art account, and Fish Inc. We do a lot on Twitch.tv. So hit us with that follow, and yeah.
Seriously, everyone, like, follow, share, do all the stuff. Get us in front of people's eyeballs.
Hell yeah.
Gonna be dope. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Get the vaccine. Be safe out there. Be good to each other.
Yeah, please. See ya.